All right. Welcome to In the Spirit of Things, folks. Hey, we go where no man has gone before. It's like Star Trek over here. Anyways, it's going to be a very interesting evening. I got Brother Wally here, who has done some deep digging. Seems like I'm getting some feedback issues. Oh, yeah, something. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure who's having the bad connection. Okay. How are we now?
Still the same.
Yeah. I'm going to cut out and come back in and see what happens. Brother John, while I'm cutting out to cut back in, please enlighten us, put a little flashlight before we get to Brother Wally. I want to cover this on the front end anyways, and I'll be back in a second.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, John.
Hey, Wally, can you hear me? I think we still have the problem.
We still have the problem, yes.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, there it seemed. Oh, no.
Oh, no, it's still there.
It was fine throughout. As the song started to end, this began.
Yeah, not good at all. I don't think it's my end either. Well, let's see. We're here. No, still there. Well, I'll try calling him, maybe. I'll wait until he gets back and see if we can't get our listeners all up to date of what's going on. Have you been following the calls, have you, Wally?
I'm sorry I didn't...
Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it? Wow.
I don't think this is an accident.
Yeah, it might not be. We do definitely cover topics we don't like.
Would it be good for me to call back?
Yeah, why don't you try calling back in, and we'll see if it stops there.
I'll call back in.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there.
Might be all right? Okay,
it
she might be gone now.
Oh.
All right, excellent. Okay. So, I'll update the listeners on what's going on in our situation with me and my fiancée, Jessie. We've been dealing with the courts trying to get back our children who were taken unlawfully, and we've been, in the system constantly, and we haven't made much headway, but we have made headway in a lot of areas. Well, the other day was the first day we actually got our habeas corpus approved and put into court. So this is quite an exciting time. We've been trying for weeks now, and we've been getting to run around, and it's been very hard to get this paperwork in. Well, it seems someone's finally starting to do their homework, and they're starting to understand that we're not going to go away, and we're not going to change our position of who we are, and that we are fully aware that we are a live man and woman, and that we have unalienable rights. We went to the court. This was on Friday, and this was after our second meeting going back to court because we had gone there on Wednesday and tried to submit our habeas corpus, and we got back a letter from the judge basically trying to keep us in statutory law and kind of asking, basically what we wanted him to do about, starting another case, that he could not start multiplicities of cases and stuff like that. So us knowing who we are, and we wrote him back a letter. Could you hand me that letter, hon, there? And I'll let the listeners hear what he wrote and what we wrote. Do you have his letter there too, hon? So we wrote back on our letterhead from DP, we're part of Divine Province, and we wrote back, thank you for reviewing our documents. We apologize for any confusion, but as we agreed, our lawful basis is that we require the use of this venue as a court of record to seat a jury in which we move our claim before, so that we can determine and render a verdict as to who has the lawful right to tender and administrate our property, we the aggrieved or the defendants. So that was in response to the letter that the judge had written us a few days before. He said that regarding proposed notice of action, Arsenal and Litho versus Schultz, these papers appear to be relevant to a family in a matter in family division. Please ask the applicant to explain in writing any legal basis for concurrent proceedings in child division and in family division. In light of Section 26 of the Adjudicator Act, the paragraph discourages multiplicity of proceedings. Please return these papers to the plaintiff's applicants at this time. So because we understood what he wrote us and what we responded back, it really got their attention. They immediately convened a court of record for us to come in and basically state what we were doing and what we were trying to do. So we got in to the courtroom. A judge, a stenographer, and the main court clerk were sitting there, and we had the courtroom basically all to ourselves. And the judge, discussed our papers with us that we had the habeas there. We also had a claim, and he was really trying to focus on the habeas. He was really trying to avoid the claim, or at least at this moment, anyway. And as he was going through our claim, he noticed a few things that he didn't really care to consider, I guess you could say. He didn't want to really put his stamp on it. And one of these things was the word property. Now, we consider the word property proper to our person, and we understand the common law jurisdiction of property, and our children are our property. He didn't quite like that in our documents, and that seemed to be the only word that he didn't like. But he was basically promising that, if he could edit a little bit, that he would... If he could edit a little bit, he would basically put our papers in. So, being that we had so much trouble getting our papers into the court and all this kind of stuff, our main focus was to get a case going. So anything can be changed later. And so we let him, change the word property to children at the time, and he stamped it off, and he was very more than happy to sign with the court clerk and get this paperwork going. And he scheduled it for the same time as our hearing would have been for CPS for their proceedings. And we actually got it moved to a different jurisdiction. We are actually on the second floor now out of family court. So we've managed to not only get a habeas in, but we've also gotten it into a different jurisdiction to be heard. Now, of course, with this children thing, we understand the trickery that he pulled here and how they're basically, keeping their foot in the door so that they can, get CPS to have a kind of a hold on the word children. Okay, on their rights and stuff like that, under the codes and statutes, and basically diminishing the word property, giving us full rights over our property. So we'll be submitting an affirmation on Monday, contesting the change of the word and putting it back into that proper capacity. And also at that time we will be, submitting our evidence for the habeas as well into our documents. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We did get that filed. We did ask the judge about filing the claim, and he basically assured us that we should file it after the habeas. He was quite friendly and, quite jovial and all this kind of stuff, but they're always trying to trick you into, their world, basically, you know what I mean? It does seem that they really want to get our children back to us, and the habeas seems to be a good way out for them. But they also want to get out with a hook still in my mouth kind of thing. So these are the kind of tricks that you really have to be careful of, especially when you're trying to, be in original jurisdiction and in a court of record, because of these judges, since the Adjudicator Act, are able to flip their hats between statutory and common law quite quickly. And if you're not quite aware of who you are and your standing and stuff like that, it's very easy for them to, drag you back into that light, basically. Now, we did get the judge to fill out the paperwork how we wanted on some aspects, and one of those aspects was of the names that he used. Now, we go by our first and middle name and of the house of, and so it was something else to have a judge. Ooh, that's getting bad. It was something else to have a judge actually write all of the our living heirs' names, basically full out with the Dante Xavier of the House of Little, Wolfgang Xavier of the House of Little, Chantal Felicia of the House of Little, and also our names as the aggrieved Jonathan Joseph of the House of Little and St. Louise of the House of Little. So that was quite exciting to actually, get that on record as our name, as the living being name and stuff like that too, and not as the legal person. So our persistence seems to be really paying off. They really do seem to understand that we know what we're doing, and but as well trying to keep us in their jurisdiction.
Yeah, John, you hear me? You hear me?
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to let you know I was in Lupa, and it's, we're getting some major interference. Gee, I've never had this happen before. Gee, maybe, Wally, what did you do to my radio station?
Idea, but I apologize.
Yeah, you come on, and I'm getting all this mayhem going on. Hey, because I know they love us out there, and they really don't want us to dialogue about anything of substance. They just want us to go back to sleep. Anyways, folks, let me give kudos to Brother Wally for coming on tonight and he's going to share a little love and show us a little bit of what's going on from the other side of the fence. He is with the CRA for many years. He has a nice bio and overview dealing with Auditor and the Canada Revenue Agency, which is equivalent to the IRS, folks. It's all under the system of private corporations controlling the masses as well and collecting monies for the IMF. And he was well aware of, what was going on and decided to switch outside of that. Matter of fact, Brother Wally, I'm going to let you run and share a little bit of love, and you can give an overview for me on my behalf because you have you know the direction of flow you want to go with. So I'm going to open the door to you, and we're just going to stand back for a couple minutes and let you share.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. More than anything else, what I'm attempting to do today after about 15 years of research and testing of the so-called system and paying a price with various court appearances, time in jail, and the whole nine yards, which I'm sure many of the people that have done any research and testing and trying to find out the truth about what's going on have experienced. I'm no different. But what I'm doing now is right off the huff, right at the top, I'd like to say this. I believe, as many of us do in our, little group, what we're trying to do today is launch a court action. What we believe is that the government is really not the enemy here. The government is being used to enslave us and to steal our birthright and everything that we produce for the bankers and not for themselves, although no doubt they benefit and so on as pawns in this game. But the real enemy is not the government. I'd like to make that quite clear. We are convinced of that, and although at the same time when I say that, the government is also the solution. Although they're not the problem, they're the solution. The bankers have used the lawyers and government lawyers in particular, and the government to pass these acts and statutes and other things called laws and regulations that are imposed upon us by government to enslave us, but it's for their benefit and not the benefit necessarily of the government per se. So all acts and statutes, which are fictional law of government, violates our human rights. That's the fundamental place from which we start.
Right.
the question to be asked is, why is that so? Well, because all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and that fact is verified by Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Therefore, we as human beings have no authority, or authorities, if you will, outside of ourselves on this planet, period. So this is where we start. This is fundamentally the truth, and it's very, very simple and easy to understand for everyone, I'm certain. But something has happened. So how did they gain authority over us? How did those people that act like authorities, such as police officers, CRA or IRS agents, government agents of all colors, government itself, and on and on and on. How did they get to be authorities, and or get to be our authorities? Well, the simple fact is that as human beings, we are living in what I would classify at least as reality, a real world. We as human beings, creations of our Creator, were given dominion over the earth and all things of it. And what has happened is that a fictional world has been created. And first, what they do is they wrote in 1948, I guess, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was composed or prepared, and and a lot of member nations of the United Nations signed on to that. And it starts off very altruistic, I suppose, and in a really, really good way, recognizing that we are human beings and we're all free and equal in dignity and rights. But then it goes on to say in Article 6 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Article 16 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, it says that everyone has a right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Now, there's the key right there.
Yep.
This is what they've done.
Person.
They have given us a right, or not given us. I keep falling into the trap that a lot of others do because of what I just said. They have recognized our right to be recognized as a person before the law.
Which takes you out of the status of man.
Well, that changes a lot of things, but what it does, it reveals the secret. If we have a right to recognition everywhere as a person before their laws, then it means that we're not automatically persons. It's one of the reasons why the Bible, I think, speaks to the fact that God is no respecter of persons, but let's not go there for a second. We have a right to recognition as a person. They obviously then move ahead and assume that we assert that right to be recognized as a person before the law. And then they write their acts and statutes to apply to persons.
Right.
Further, more to the point, though, a person is a fiction. A person is a concept. Just like a police officer is a concept or a fiction. You can't walk up and touch a police officer. You can walk up and touch a man or a woman or a human being wearing a badge and a gun and a uniform maybe, but police officer is a concept, it's a fiction. So is a driver, so is a taxpayer, so is a citizen, and the legal name that has been assigned to me or that I'm associated with most of the time, being Wally Dove, is, in fact, a fiction. Okay? A name is a fiction. You could, like the police officer, you could never walk up and touch a Wally Dove, but you can walk up and touch a human being who is sometimes called by that name or by that phrase, Wally Dove, but it's a fiction. So what they try to do all the time is make us fictions or recognize us as fictions. It's not just person, which is a trap we fell into when we first got onto this. It's just recognition as a person, but then the judge turns around. do you live at such and such an address? And if you say yes, what the judge does then in his mind, in his fictional world, is say, he is a resident. A resident is a noun. It's a name. And when you are recognized as a resident or a name, you are a fiction. Now, your fiction has less authority than all of their fictions, so that's where they get their authority. A judge has more authority in their fictional world than a citizen, a person, a Wally Dove, or anybody, or any other name or noun for that matter. So that's essentially how they do what they do. But again, it's the bankers that get this done and use the government, because the government is debtor to the creditor, the bankers. So are we all. Now, the book that we have on our website explains all of this, and it's not going to be, I'm not going to attempt to explain it right now, but it's through the control of our money and our monetary system, if you will, that they have this power and have gained this authority. Every corporation, every major corporation of this world is owned by these same bankers, the international bankers, or the cartel, as Edward G. Griffin calls them, is the cartel, the banking cartel. And I absolutely agree with that term. It doesn't really matter, but just to identify what we're talking about here. So the problem, again, is not the government. We support a government. We need government. We need to somebody to organize all these things and do other functions to serve us, the human beings of this planet. That's what they're there for, not to serve the bankers, which they are currently doing. Now, what we have decided, or what we have been fortunate enough to do, is run into a lawyer who is willing to surrender bar cards, resign from the law societies, join us, and become a litigant in a legal action, as he calls it, against all of the governments in Canada, because we happen to be living on this landmass commonly known as Canada. So the legal action is going to be taken against all governments in Canada for human rights violations, in a nutshell. That involves a lot of different things, of course, and what we are asking and what I am promoting these days is to bring this to as many people around the world, because I've been told that anybody can become a litigant, whether we're living on this landmass called Canada or not. I didn't know that. I'm not a lawyer. I'm an accountant by profession. But I've been told that is possible, and so we are going to be asking ultimately people to file an affidavit with the lawyer to become a litigant or a plaintiff in this action, and to support us financially by donations to the extent possible. To fund the legal fees or legal costs, which we call a legal fund, for the legal action, which is anticipated to be around plus or minus $250,000 by the lawyer. The lawyer says that we are going to be filing this action by August this year, and they are currently working on it as we speak. And, we would hope that as many people as possible make the decision to participate in our epic legal action, which will not only change this country, it'll change the world, because the problem that humanity has is not unique to Canada, and it's not unique to the United States. It is the same everywhere. And we would like to ask for financial support, but most importantly, actually, we want participation. On our website, to join us, you simply have to register right now with a name and email address, so that we can let you know when the time is right for the affidavit to be filed. and participate financially if you can, and that's all that's required at this time. We realize that there is no way, I've been at this for over 15 years now, there's no way that you can educate people sufficiently to go into court, to stand on their own 2 feet, and change the world, change the system. You can hope that some people might be able to defend themselves, but it is highly unlikely that, by and large, that's going to be successful. That's been our experience. So the only way to change things is to do it foundationally, fundamentally, and permanently for everybody on the planet. And that's what we are proposing to do. We've got a lawyer that's willing to do it. He's ready to retire, get rid of his practice, and join us. And incidentally, he knew all about this stuff before we ever found him or he found us. We want you also to know one final thing, that there are 2 or 3 people, private individuals, who are willing and able and have unconditionally pledged to top up any shortage we have, even to the entire amount, if necessary, to fund this legal action. As exciting as this is, we humbly ask you to accept your own responsibilities, to make sure you fully understand the issues, to make sure you fully support our common objectives, to make sure you share this vital information with your families and friends, and to make sure you contribute as much as you can to the growth of this legal fund, and also to become part of it. Visiting our website is the initial step.
Yep.
The book that we've written and put together to educate people is downloadable from that site.
And I do have, I have you posted, Brother Wally, I have you posted on my email blast from Privatis.Me, so they can link onto the icon very easily, and I also posted it in my producer's box, so she can put it on the chat room, Skype it out. I'll give you a little heavy lifting. Brother, I'm going to go to break real quick because it's time for break, and we'll cover a little more on the other side, and we'll see if we can, anybody, folks, I'm opening up the door for questions. Feel free to direct whatever you may. Come when we get back from break. So everybody do what we do at break, and we'll be right back. Thank you. All right, welcome back. Hey, folks, got Brother Wally Dove online and sharing a little bit about his direction of flow and his taking up a different paradigm. And folks, if you haven't seen his site, it is very well put together, very well structured. I like what I see. I get it. However, we're going to open the lines up here in a minute. So anybody wants to call and ask Brother Wally a question, no problem. But I'm going to banter just for a second. Because, Brother Wally, like where I live, I sort of actually, I'm sort of a wordsmith type of guy. I start digging into this word human. It's color of man. It's not really man. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. However, what we do, Michael and I, is we sort of like to remove presumptions. We go to peace. We don't like to argue, banter, because all these constructs they've duped people into, I find that we have capacity to remove presumptions on a different level and not as a dead entity. Because they had to put all these layers of the onion in the game to get people confused as to understanding in legalism what they were trying. They basically they turned everything upside down on its head. But these constructs that they put forward were deliberate, malicious, and with bad intent. Fraud vitiates all contracts from where I live. Unless you can tell me with true intent what you meant by me giving over via using my res, like you talk about, the energy, I talk about that as well, because everybody's given over by a fiction corporate address, all these different, like I say, layers of the onion, how they've duped us into the word person. Matter of fact, I just posted I think it's a 9-page document. It's called Office of the Person, and broken down pretty well by the Informer, and same with the vernacular citizen. So all these different monikers that they attach to us, because we weren't paying attention. So, freedom comes with responsibility, but it also comes with knowledge. So I live in a different place as far as how I operate, what I do. I don't accept presents from third parties in any way, shape, or form. And I don't subscribe to contract with anybody because that's how they dupe everybody in. And I am very well aware of what you're saying, and I agree with you on this point, that to go in and try and stand on your own to fight or to deal with this on an individual basis, because it is tricks for kids hours, that's all they have. They use nothing but ecclesiastical law, black magic. It's all just a game. It's for a hypothecation event,
Absolutely, Peter, and I agree with that. And it's even, I think, more fundamental than we even imagine. The language is referred to by Arthur Christian as the alphabet language. All alphabet languages are fictional.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go. So the point is, we shouldn't even be talking. We shouldn't be using language. We shouldn't be using words. We should be teleporting and telepathically communicating and the whole 9 yards. I absolutely get that. But where we are today is in a real mess, and we've got to get out of it. And we got to get out of that fictional world. We've got to stop that fictional world, those fictions, from controlling us. Now, when it comes to human beings, the reason we use human beings, and we call ourselves the Human Rights Defenders League in Canada, if you will, is simply because there is a document out there called the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which they have created, which they have signed on to, which binds them, not me. It's got nothing to do with me and you. It's got everything to do with them. And they recognize and they call us human beings. So all human beings are born free and equal. That is the foundational point from which we start. And we say, okay, we accept that. Our Creator, according to the Bible at least, named us or called us man and woman, or so it goes. Now, we could start there, but if we're going to use their documents to bind them, we need to maybe use some words that are found in those documents. And I remember the last time I was in court, a little over a year ago, I was explaining all this stuff to the judge. And what he kept saying to me was, you have to show me something that binds me. And that is the International Bill of Human Rights. And a year ago, I didn't even know it. So I couldn't put that before him. But if I had, things would have, or his reaction obviously would have been different, because the International Bill of Human Rights is legally binding on Canada. The United States government did not sign that document and ratify it unconditionally like Canada did. It ratified the international covenants, which are two of the documents on the internet in the International Bill of Human Rights. United States signed them or ratified them with conditions. But, like I've said to many people that I've talked to recently, if you're in a court, for example, or if you're facing any agent of the system, and they say, well, that international bill, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, is not binding on me, the question I would ask is, are you saying I don't have those rights? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying I'm not born free and equal with you? Are you saying that I do not have the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law? Are you saying that I do not have the right to not be held in slavery or servitude? I think you've got them right there.
Yeah. Matter of fact, a brother of mine posted me a beautiful document. Michael, I know he's listening right now. Michael, yeah, we need to post that and to separate the wheat from the chaff as far as, because basically they're reducing everybody, like I say, to a hypothecation event when they get them to court. It's about drafting for performance. Are you a resident? Are you a citizen? All these different monikers to get you to play the game because they think you're a double-minded man and you don't know who you are. So
exactly.
I'm real good at removing presumptions, Brother Wally. Matter of fact, we get better every day, and that's, like I say, it's easy to remove presumptions, and it's easy to change the status and remove the status that they think you're operating in. So instead of arguing and fighting, we just remove presumptions. Matter of fact, I'm going into creation mode with some YouTubes here very, very soon, and I'm going to show people exactly how to remove presumptions. It's just like, hey, when I was telling you about the W-2s, and well, you're well aware of it, the W-2s, W-4s, 1099s are estate and gift tax forms, tax class 5. But the minute one gets duped into filling out a 1040, they change their status, and thereby, under a penalty of perjury, give over their res, their energy, signing that document at 1040 unencumbered, giving over, thereby being calculated into basically a franchisee in the dead entity state for merely benefits and privileges to pay for using the king's sustenance, i.e. his money, so now everything becomes a taxable event. So,
and they become a fiction. They become a fiction. They join in the fiction world. They're recognized as a fiction, or we are recognized as a fiction. That is the key right there. All of the other terms and words and phrases and nouns and everything else are all, that's all also fiction. That's the point, though. We become fictions, or we become recognizable as fictions. And then the world of inequality is what we live in. We were born naturally and created, if you will, into a world of equality where we're all equal. But when we get into that fictional world, or join into that fictional world, in all of the ways and methodologies that you just mentioned and went through, we are in the fictional world. That's the key. That's the key. Yep. It doesn't matter, whatever words or terms or anything else we use to describe it. We're in the fictional world. That is the key, in my view, anyway.
Yep. No, and it's definitely right-minded. You're totally 100% on the right track. I subscribe to exactly what you're saying. I just don't know if I can go to the UN or some other arbitrary, inanimate corporation to ask them to bring me forward my rights, because I am thereby I am. I don't look for permission or consent from anybody, especially an entity. So what I need to do, at least in my mind, is remove the presumption that I have given over in any way, shape, or form. If I have made that presumption or straddled that fence and come over that line, I have the capacity and the ability to remove the presumption, because it's all about the insurance. This whole system is one big LLC, limited liability corporation. It's all about hypothecation events and drafting everybody for performance, because the minute, like you say, the birth certificate bond was put in place, they put that last name on it, and now you became property of that public delivery system in the hospital, and were given over by your mother as the informant. So I think, like I say, I just know what I know, and I move forward on different levels. But I'm really, I subscribe to help my brothers and sisters on a different level because of my mindset and understanding what I do. It's sort of like dealing with third-party bottom feeders. I create administrative process because everything they send is an offer, and no problem. If I want to remove the presumption, I'm going to send them a counteroffer, but not as a dead entity, as a live man. So, I've created, Michael and I have created process, and we are effectively beating the brakes off of our lovely third-party bottom feeders, left, right, and center. I give away the package for free to all my brothers and sisters because I love third-party bottom feeders so much. I decided to give the debt termination package. It's red box. If you don't understand that technology, brother, it's all about the LLC. So when I double, it's called Rules of 8. So when we post the information that we're asking, it becomes non-negotiable, not like an instrument, but non-negotiable on what I'm requesting, which they can never meet because they never ever have a valid claim. Only, they can't produce. Anyways, it's an anomaly. It's an impossibility. And by knowing that, I put them in an untenable situation to remove the presumption at the same time. But I'm not warring. We don't beat them up. We just go, hey, if you've got a valid claim, bring it forward. We administrate in the proper context of who we are, not the dead entity. And there lies the... go ahead.
I like that. But what I heard you say, and I'm not certain of what you meant, was about the going to the UN and stuff like that. Well, just remember, we do not get anything from these documents. Those things that they call human rights are simply recognition or memorialization of certain of our natural inherent rights that we were created or born with.
Right.
that they recognize. We're not getting those rights from them. And if we approach them and say, you have recognized these rights as something that I already have. Now, this guy over here is violating those rights. I want you, who have authority over him, to tell him to stop violating my human rights. That's all.
Right.
Nothing to do with me. It's just like the Charter of Rights. It's like the Constitution. It's like the Constitution in the United States. It's like the Bill of Rights, and so on and so forth. They have not that. We don't get anything from that. They don't give us anything. Our Creator gave us everything.
Right, right, and that's why I like to remove the capacity that I'm operating in any other capacity but as a live man, not a dead entity. So for me, it's a lot easier to remove presumptions administratively because I've been digging into this game for so damn long, and I'm well aware when you rescind signatures off of contracts, they recognize that, and have had success doing it on multiple levels. So I'm going to go down this path because it's a simple one, and it removes those presumptions. Like my brothers and sisters stuck in the body politic, and because there is no constitution, brother, we're operating under treaties. We're not operating under the Constitution. Haven't been for a long, long time. We're all
Agreed.
under the crown. You know, it's all that scam. You know,
everything is a contract, I believe. But
right.
The point is, if we don't change this, those who can, like we are attempting to do now with the legal action, there are billions on this planet, and certainly millions and tens of millions in North America alone, who are not able to do so and not able to defend themselves, and they're going to be used and abused and stolen from and enslaved forever and ever unless this is changed foundationally and fundamentally, and that is what our legal action is intended to do.
Yeah. Well, and that's it's a direction of flow. I mean, standing fast and doing absolutely nothing is not a viable option at any cost. Because the insane train has left the station. They're literally raping the estates, and that's what it is. It all started with that, like I said, the birth of Gabon. They created the estate. We were unaware. We registered over. We gave over. We weren't aware by taking these actions and giving these unencumbered signatures, giving over our res to these contracts, that we were, in essence, abandoning all. Now, what makes me mad is that's fraud on its face. Fraud vitiates all contracts. But the whole point being is they never enlightened us to, like, saying, hey, Wally, if you register your property with us down here at the county, these are the things that you're giving over when you do so. See, nobody came through with full clarity. Sort of like the driver's license. If you look at the contract, it says vessel in commerce right on it, but nobody reads anything, like the bank statement or the bank contract when you sign to set up your bank account. You gave permission and gave over, and so these presumptions I can overcome. These presumptions I can remove at all costs. While you're doing what you're doing is a great thing, I'm moving in this direction so I can give my brothers and sisters some sort of relief because they're not getting much, but by removing presumptions, it really, really does. How do you put, it's sort of like cutting the Gordian knot. It sort of removes the presumption, and they really, really don't have a lot of wiggle room to move forward because when you rescind something ab initio non pro tunc to the date of inception, now you're basically, hey, I made a mistake, and I'm here to fix the mistake. See, they don't want us fixing the mistake. They just want us going to sleep and giving over. That's why when people go into court, it's about tricking you and because they want to do those bonds behind closed doors, and that's what they're doing when they draft you for performance. It's their terminology. I get it, though. So
Absolutely, I agree with you 100% with you. Absolutely, I agree. But I mean, I know we can only help one at a time here and there, and you can do that. But with a lawsuit, can't we change the whole system? And this is the point. And I support what you're doing. Absolutely, I've been doing it for 15 years, or attempting to do it for 15 years, and I've paid a price. A lot of other people have paid a price, and so on, in our learning. But we can change all of this, and that is what we're about. That's what we're about now. I agree with everything you say. All of the thing you've talked about, the birth certificate, and the res, and the trust, and the abuse of the trust, and on and on and on. It's all true. It's all valid. It's what they've.
You got to love that there are so many layers in this onion. I mean, like I said, I've been digging on this stuff for 25 years to put these information together. And 99.9% of the masses don't have 12 months, let alone 25 years to dig in. So I cut through the wheat and the chaff. This is why I'm trying to create simple. I'm trying to make everybody competent in their own mind to understand who they are and move forward in the proper capacity. Because failure to do nothing leaves you in that untenable situation and has not removed the presumption, and they will beat your brakes off. But we don't want to argue with them. We don't want to fight with them. We want to go to peace. This is where I stand. So the irony is, since I started this international debt termination package that I made available to my brothers and sisters for free, people are having extreme success because we already know the original creditor got paid initially on the contract when you defaulted, and then now you got some third-party bottom feeder. Hey, Brother Wally, this is what makes me mad, makes me crazy. These people are laughing behind closed doors, these third-party bottom feeders, where they bought the so-called debt for 3 to 6 cents on the dollar under the guise of tricking you to come play ball. Well, hey, I can stop the Tricks is for Kids hours. I know exactly what to do. But when people fail to take responsibility for themselves, this is where they get binded up. If they, like I say, if you accept their offers and do nothing to produce a counter offer as the man, you are sort of stuck on that side of the fence, and they basically will run with the presumption that you don't know who you are, and yes, you owe us, so we're going to keep coming until you pay. Well, you can't do an impossibility. You can't pay what doesn't exist, and on top of that, it's a 100% fraud what they do. It's no different than a thief coming into my house and taking something off my kitchen table. That's the way I treat these clowns. I show them the just due and respect that they deserve, and I help them administrate and get their mind right. And I use their system, i.e., but not their system. I use their process. Everything's in threes. Notice a fault, notice a default, notice of estoppel, and I give them a chance to make it right and bring forward that claim. They never, ever can. I give them 21 days. They can't do it in 210. They can't do it in 21 years. I'm well aware of this. This is a position of strength that I operate on, but not in a warring capacity. I don't argue anything, and I don't have my people argue anything. I just have them remove the dadgum presumption. That's where I live.
Beautiful.
And it's working. And it's actually working, so that's a beautiful thing. I'm going to be posting some testimonials because I'm really, really disgusted because this is the stuff that makes me puke because I cannot believe that they actually think we're all that stupid. So, hey, I'm an educator, brother. This is where I live, and I give people direction of flow. If it resonates with you how to remove presumptions, then I say by all means move forward. If you fail to, you've given over. It's sort of like my first song that played at the top of the queue, Free Will. We all have free will. So you're showing them that you're not exercising it when you don't make a choice, i.e. by removing the presumption, you've given over. So you still made a choice, and it was a bad choice by inaction. So that inaction still becomes a choice. So my mind works this way. I'm the crazy guy in the room, but I get things, and I can create, like I say, administrative process to help people not have to have all this pain. They can remove these presumptions, and that's where I live. So, and with what you're doing, would love to do it all in one fell swoop. Hell, I'm sick of this clowns of the circus game. It's a sad state of affairs that I've had to actually, create administrative process for my live brothers and sisters to actually remove presumptions. But it's the only thing I know that has an effective capacity to literally shut the door down and remove the Tricks is for Kids presumptions, and they literally are stuck. They can't move forward because the presumption has been removed. And now they can try and trick you again, but that's why I have classes that I say, hey, folks, they're going to send you maybe a more offer. Don't open it up. Return it. Undeliverables address, return to sender, because there's nothing in there in that envelope that you want. But if you retain it, you've given over and completed the circuit to the contract. Anyways, that's where I live.
Kudos to you.
Yes, sir. I had to do something to just lay down and do nothing, and I love what you're doing, and I subscribe to your mindset. I subscribe to your beautiful site. Yeah, folks, if you haven't been to Wally's site, it's a beautiful site, well established. He gives some really, really good information, the story of your enslavement. He's got the solution posted there. Who's responsible for the name on the birth certificate? You're covering, brother, you are paralleling a lot what we already are well aware of, and I love it. That's why I was really excited when Sister Terry bird-dogged me to you and said, hey, I want him to bring this forward, because to do nothing is not a valid
reaction.
Right, exactly. We got to do something, brother. Yeah, like I say, the freedom of choice, free will starts with us, and we have to, make some decisions. So I think, I'll get you some
I may
direction.
do something and be wrong, but if I do nothing, that is more wrong.
Right, exactly. Right. Especially in the face of overwhelming evidence, and it's all good. Anyways, hey folks, it's 7:59, brother. We're going to go to a break. Everybody go do what they do on break, and we'll be right back. Thank you. All right, welcome back to the top of the hour in the spirit of things, folks. I sort of, I'm your DJ sometimes. I actually select songs of content, trying to get people's minds to open up and wake up just a little bit. That's little evanescence, wake me up inside. Folks, we got to start doing a little introspection these days. That's the problem. We've all gone to sleep between chemtrails, fluoridation, all this other garbage. Everybody's been effectively zombified, stupefied, dumbed down to the capacity of giving their power over to everybody else instead of looking within inside themselves where all the power is retained. I don't give it over to body politics. I don't give it over to churches, 5013C corporations who operate in capacities that's a double-minded man. Hey, brother Wally, that's the Bible speaks of this double-mindedness, and because we forgot who we are, they've gotten away because we've stood fast for so long in apathy, looking for permissions, consents. They programmed us very well, though, of course. 53 years on this earth. I'm well aware. I did 10 years in the military myself, so I do have a little bit of understanding about when you're dealing with authority. But I've always been the square peg in the round hole, plan on staying that way, because I'm the outside-the-box guy, because I know who I am. So on that note, Brother Wally, I think we have a caller. I'm going to let this one through, and hopefully we have some direction of flow going on here. 937, we're opening up the queue for you. Come on down.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. I'm sorry I missed you last week or earlier. You had another on the call. But anyway, just want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing with us. I am a active person. I just joined. At the moment, I'm not working, but I want to get some more information. And as soon as I start working, I want to be a member. At the moment, I don't have finances at the moment.
Right.
And so I wanted to find out with Wally, what is it that you all are doing? And I wanted to get your email address, so I can start putting some of this to work.
Well, first of all, I'll start at the end. The email address is on the website to contact us. It's called I am Wally at humanrightsdefendersleague.ca. But anyway, you go to the site, you'll get that. What we're up to is legal action. We are taking the governments to court for human rights violations, and with the ultimate objective of regaining our freedom and access to our birthright, which is the earth and all things of it. Plain and simple. That's it, in a nutshell.
Okay. Well, I wanted to say to you guys out there that's really doing a great job, you share my burden too. You sharing my desires and what I want to do. There's some things that I've been doing also as well. I looked up my birth certificate or live birth number, and it's not a Social Security number. I call it an exclusion ID, or my personal authorized identification number. And I found out how much that they have tried to take from me. And it is quite staggering, the numbers, to tell you the least. So that's the good information. The numbers are quite staggering.
Yeah. Hey, brother, have you ever been over to Privatis.Me? That's my site where I give like 8 steps, sort of follow the bouncing ball, whence this all started. Basically helping people to pull the rose-colored glasses off. Because if you don't know, got a beautiful video over there called Changes on the Horizon Part 2. And all wars are bankers' wars. These are, I think, must consumption for everybody, so they can understand.
Already got Horizon 1, 2, and 3, and already listened to them. And you had stated that number 2 is good. Yes, number 2 is dynamic, and number 3 puts the icing and all the touches on the cake. I also did the other one you had mentioned. I did that one too.
All wars are bankers' wars. Yep.
War of Bankers Wars. I download this off of my computer to my external hard drive from YouTube and from different sites. And I'm also signed up with y'all as a beginner, but like I say, I'm not working at the moment.
Right.
And if I could get a portion of this money, it's the zeros it's like 12 or 16 zeros. That's how much money that I'm worth as far as both of those put together, those important life documents.
Right. Well, and that, yeah, I think, brother, therein lies the problem, because there is no money. It's all digits on a computer screen, and this is why we're trying to change the paradigm, because there is no substance. They've stolen your substance, your res, and that's what Wally covers as well as I am. I don't think there is a carrot at the other side. Anyways, I'm not looking for that carrot.
Right.
And because I understand the bond stuff, brother, I understand all that, the hypothecation event, and how people using the UCC, sort of like OPPT stuff. And I was trying to get with Sister Heather from the OPPT when she first started, and I wanted to share with her some of her, some information in reference to using 4 modalities on a document, i.e., UCC, statutory law, common law, and Admiralty law, all in the same document. It's called mixing oil with water. It doesn't stand. It has no validity, and therein lies the problem. So for my brothers and sisters who were looking for that golden carrot over there, they got successfully dismayed. But that's I call this the diversion. It's the smoke and mirrors hour. These diversions, these divisions between my brothers and my sisters, everybody jumping on these bandwagons. I don't have a bandwagon. I just want to be the man. I just want to remove presumptions and move forward so that we all can be unencumbered. But like I say, I think I'm trying to be right-minded as a man, knowing who I am. So, and brother, I appreciate you coming on tonight and sharing a little love.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Can I ask you another question about
Sure.
the travelers' rights to travel with or without identification, with how to get how to get transportation, and how to drive, how to get plates. I don't call them tags or travelers tags or plates, whatever you want to call them, identification. Because I'm needing to go to work. I need my traveler's identification, and I understand that you could use a DOT exemption number to drive as a exemption identification for your vehicle or traveling process.
Yep. Matter of fact, a brother of mine, Brother Bill here in Virginia, shared with me that novel issue and as far as separating the entity and not being binded up. Yeah, because if your vehicle's registered with the system, you commit, like I say, you completed the 3 steps in the contract, i.e., when you went and signed for the driver's license, you became a vessel in commerce. It says it right on the document, but nobody reads it. When you get the insurance, you complete the circuit, and then by giving over registration to them, you complete the 3 steps. Everything is done in threes with these people. But you know what, Michael and I, we're going to go down this road because we're going to start removing presumptions on multiple levels, because you can do it on the marriage certificate. You can do it on your body politic until you remove. Matter of fact, I have a beautiful document, Slave Who Owns You. It's about the 14th Amendment, citizen-slave status. And you don't have the right to challenge anything if you are part of the body politic, because you're considered a double-minded man, because you're not as a man. You're as a fiction getting merely benefits and privileges. So I'm actually going to go into I've already created the template, and I've had many brothers already come out of Mammon, out of the body politic, and that's one of the first steps. So we're going to start small. I'm going to create YouTubes with the documents and show people exactly what I'm speaking of, and I don't use dead entities on my documents, but we can remove presumptions. Most people don't understand. By putting your name, that full name on the left-hand side of the page, puts you in statutory land. When you use signatures, you're signing, you're sitting. Look at the line. It's a dead line. That's a flat line, just like you're dead. That's why they use flat lines. Nobody knows these little nuances. We don't use signatures. We do seals, and these are the little concepts that they don't teach in school about, men have seals, stamps, and codicils and stuff like that. Dead entities have nothing. That's how they can separate us and pretty much ignore everything we say. But so when we start removing these presumptions one step at a time, that's the direction that will get people moving.
Can I email you? I wanted to give you my phone number because I need to talk to you, so I can email you from the private side or the Privatis.Me.
Yeah, let me ask my producer if you can get up with her and she can give you my email location, because I don't want to really put it out that way.
Yeah, I understand that. He gets a lot of attention, more than what you need.
Yeah, I don't mind the attention. I'm already binded up on multiple levels. But what I'm going to do is I'm posting with her right now to give to you. So when you step out of this, you can get up with my producer, and you will be able to get my email, and we'll correspond. I'll remember you on the call, mention your first name in the subject line, and that we spoke, and I'll give you some direction of flow.
Okay, I think you all have my email address on your site because I'm a subscriber or whatever you want to call it. Okay, very good.
Yeah, get up with Sister Andrea, and she's still out. You're still on the phone, so when you bow out with me, she's going to take care of you. Okay.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for doing a great job. And you do have my prayers. We are praying for you and with you, and you're not alone out there. You got more supporters than what you realize, okay? So you already know you're on the front line as well as all the rest of us, okay? And we hooking and jabbing, and that's what I say. We already won. We just going through the process.
Right. Hey, we waking up now. We coming out the other side, brother. Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah.
What was your first name, brother?
Carl.
Carl. Okay, very good. Carl, thank you.
Yeah, but I go by my middle name is Antonio. So if you see Antonio on there or Carl, that's me. I'm in Ohio here, Cincinnati, and I'm a good supporter, and I'm dedicated, and I'm in with you because this is what I want to do too. So thank you very much and Wally too. Thank you very much for coming and participating.
God bless you.
Yes, thank you, brother. Hey, we'll catch you on the rebound. Send me an email. My producer's standing by. Thank you, brother.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let me see if let me talk to my producer. We got anything else that's coming in there, my producer? Okay. Well, that's all right. Wally and I can roll. I was really Wally. Like I say, you got on there December 15th. Do you know who you are? And, they speak of that. Like I say, this double-minded man thing, they really going to use it against you. That's why, I think I talked to you a little bit about all these people who have these statutory wills and stuff like that. They literally are just hypothecation events because the system knows that you don't recognize who you are because you're operating in a capacity as an entity, a dead entity, and it's a $1.1 trillion a year business. You got to love it. Like I say, they're probating the estates at the speed of sound, and because we don't know our wills, everybody's filing these statutory wills, which they change willy-nilly on the drop of a dime anyways. I'm sure you're well.
I couldn't agree more with all of that. And our intention at this point for what we're doing anyway is to attempt to change fundamentally everything for everyone. That it's almost like to help those who can't help themselves. Because for us, although you're doing a great job, I can tell that. and there are others doing the same thing. It would take us longer than the time we have left to educate enough people to make the change, but we can certainly help those who are looking to be helped now and are capable of helping themselves. And that's a wonderful thing. I've been doing it for 15 years, but the last year in particular has led me to this approach that we're taking now, and we've been fortunate enough to find a lawyer. I never actually believed that we could. I mean, I wasn't saying we couldn't. I just thought, I actually never thought too much about it. I just assumed there was no way we were going to ever find a lawyer that would, first of all, understand what we're talking about, secondly, to do anything with us. And we had two lawyers. Two of them were actually released or let go from their law firms at different times and approached by the Law Society and threatened. And they were young, so they had to resign from the engagement to help us or to take our case to court for us.
Right. Well, you had Brother Tommy Cryer here in USA Inc., who really got it. He has since passed on, I think 2010 or 11. But he was... because, the whole system is nefariously tied into on multiple levels, especially people who go to work at jobs. Your job likes to make legal determination for your documents, like i.e. For people who file exempt and try and retain their right and their status in the proper capacity. And then they've trained up these employers to be chicken shit, excuse my French, I couldn't help myself, to kowtow and to basically browbeat the guy who wants to come in and get a job, but he doesn't want to be in commerce. And basically they say, hey, well, if you don't do it our way, you just don't get the job.
Exactly, and at the moment, you take a young family, 2 or 3 small kids, what are they going to do?
Right.
Well, they have to have that fictional money in that fictional system to buy, to access the necessities of life. I mean, I can understand the predicament people find themselves in.
Yeah, now it's fictional food, genetically modified garbage, poisoning the systems because it has adverse effects on the physical capacity. It's a foreign substance, just like the chemicals by big FDA, big pharma, all incestuously tied together for making a hypothecation mark on my brothers and sisters instead of sharing with them natural modalities that exist that they can't patent, that they're really, really effective. We don't talk about that. We just talk about everything else. So it's all, my brother, you got to love the direction of flow. They've really let people have basically been reduced to a real slave on the plantation on multiple levels, and they've tied it all together incestuously, one thing after another. It's all interwoven. But I'm just a man on the land, and as long as I'm breathing and upright, having this human experience, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I know I can affect, at least in some capacity. At least I'm having fun with third-party whores on a whole different level. I mean, this is a fun game I'm having, brother. I'm telling you what, we're beating the brakes off them left, right, and center, and we're not even arguing. We're not warring. We're just removing the presumption and giving them a beautiful counteroffer they can't meet, beat, or do anything else about. So the game is over on that level in third-party land, and most people are unaware that it's just a simple removal of the presumption. If you fail to remove the presumption, you've agreed to it, and that's so. Hey, you don't have to acquiesce. It's you don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be. I love lawyers. I have fun with lawyers, brother. I go search them out and like to ask them lots of questions, and I have them so perplexed because they only know procedure. They don't know truth,
Oh, absolutely. That's correct. They also don't really know law. They just know procedure is what they go to 3 years of law school for.
Yep.
Is to learn procedure in the court. And that's how they defeat most of us who are attempting to defend ourselves in their courts is by procedure. It's not got anything to do with law and them knowing more law than we do. We probably know more law than they do because they don't really study law, at least not in law school. It's just simply procedure. This I have firsthand from lawyers.
And the sad part is you have the judge from up on high hypothecating the event as well, so they're all in bed together. It's you got the trustee over there who's keeping the books, but they get you to wear that hat when you step in and own up to that name, that fiction, and when people file, I don't file anything into court systems, never. I don't do affidavits, so that's why they ignore them, because they're just that's their system. And I understand you want to move forward in this capacity, but I guess time.
We're probably going to be calling it an affirmation, actually, and not an affidavit. I use both terms on the website when describing the affidavit, because we're not certain yet, but that's what we want to use. I don't know if we have to use an affidavit in order to get access to the system,
brother,
but I don't think so.
You just went to the head of the class. I'm giving you 5 gold stars because we don't use affidavits, but we sure as heck use affirmations, because in that status, yes, an affirmation is totally applicable. So, it's about status, knowing who you are. That's why I give direction to flow on the site at Privatis.Me, but I want them to understand how this came about, how your status, what it is, and even the IRS knows very well. We have a brother on the other side of the fence whose mom was 37 years in the IRS, and he's never paid an income tax a day in his life, and his mother shared with him the truth because she was sort of tied into that nexus, but she knew how this status thing really has applicability. Matter of fact, Brother Michael got a correspondence back from our brothers at the IRS, and they recognized the living beneficiary on a 3369 form, where they resent one of his presentments back, but they kept the codicil and the stamp, the seal, to settle the account to whether they're hypothecating. Hey, we want to help them get their math right. That's our only goal. You have a private side exemption, and hey, if you've got a valid claim, go ahead and take care of that. Here's the digits on the back of that Social Security card, so that you can settle my account. And I'm not arguing. I'm not fighting. I'm whatever the dollar amount you want to put on it, whatever. Hey, just settle the account. We're going in love and harmony. It's a whole different mindset that I have to teach to my brothers and sisters, and it works, and it's been working.
You bet. You can't you can't fight with somebody who will not fight.
Right. You pull the oxygen out of the room, brother. Now you get it. That's me and Michelle. We talk about drawing the line in the sand, and it's not. It's almost like surrender, but at the same time, you're saying, "Hey, I drew this line. I'm going home now. I'll catch you later." And you just walk, and you just leave, and you just move on. You do not feed any energy into that false paradigm. And when you don't, what are they going to do? How do you beat up somebody or cause duress? Well, I know how they do it, but I mean, it's always the tricks is for kids hours. But if you know really who you are and you stand in the breach correctly, you have capacity to take your power and move forward and go on home and call it a day.
And the most beautiful phrase I've heard, I know this gentleman didn't probably originate it, but he was a candidate in a local, I think a provincial election actually, and he was at an all-candidates meeting, and he says, my philosophy is this, with all the things that are going on in this world today, he says, what about if they declared a war and nobody showed up?
Right. That's excellent. I love that analogy. Beautiful.
So it's the same with us, with them. If we don't want to fight, we just want to go to love and peace. And so whatever it is I can do for you, then let me do that so that I can assist you in doing what you have to do.
Yep.
If there's anything I can do. And there's all kinds of things we can do. We don't have to be recognized as those fictions in order to help them. We can do something else. There's offsets, like like you said, you're holding. We believe that the birth certificate is probably a security, but only by definition and so on, and assumption and presumption can we do that too, because we can't point to anything that says this is a security, a certificate of security or a certificate of indebtedness or anything like that. But it has to be, simply because what would they give it to us for? We don't need to be identified. We don't need to know what our name is, if you will. My parents told me that
right.
It was my name, or this is the name they wanted me to have. So we don't need that. So it's not just the registration of the name. It's not just identification or anything else. It has to be something along the lines of, this is your receipt. This is your certificate or a warehouse receipt, for example, in exchange for your share of the earth and all things of it, or the wealth of the earth that we have taken control of in trust for you or in some other capacity. I don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff we have to assume. We have to make presumptions about. We have to read definitions and everything else.
Right.
But the thing that I like about human rights is that I can point to a document that's binding on them that they've agreed to do this and to recognize. You have stated yourself, so I don't have to assume anything. I don't have to say that I was given dominion over the earth and all the wealth thereof and so on, or all the things thereof. I don't have to say then that I'm not controlling them and I'm not managing them. You are, so there must be a trust relationship here.
Right.
Line, it's an assumption and it's an argument, if you will. I don't have to do any of that kind of stuff with human rights. I have these rights, and these particular of my rights that you have listed and called human rights, you have agreed to protect and recognize, or recognize and protect is the proper order, of course. So it's very, very difficult. And as the lawyer has said, there is no defense here. There's no defense for them. They can't defend themselves. They have violated our human rights by imposing their will upon us. First and foremost.
Right, and that's why I talk. Go figure. I set up the show. It's called Free Will, and I'm trying to help my brothers and sisters get their free will back because we all have free will. And on that note, brother, we're going to go to the last break. Hey, you're really sharing some good love here tonight. We're loving it here at In the Spirit of Things. We're going to go to break. Yeah, it's a beautiful song by Chicago. I toned it down a little bit. I've been searching. Folks, enjoy the song. Go to break, and we'll be back in a minute. Thank you.
See you then.
All right. Very good. Hey, folks, thank you for taking this beautiful ride with us today with Brother Wally and Peter, bantering on a little bit, trying to share how we can bring our brothers and sisters over to the other side, because we see the pain. Wally, that's one thing. I love your heart. I get your heart. I know you're a man of conviction. Hey, that's what kindred souls are all about. This is where we forgot, on a lot of ways, how to show the love and how to bring forward this shift, this paradigm shift in our hearts, our minds, our spirits, and we're all men, we're all men and women having a human experience and trying to come forward, and we got to share the love. I'm not in the war game anymore. Even though I did 10 years in the military, they teach us how to deal with that game. I was a Navy doc, but I really like what you're bringing, and I know your heart's true, and I really thank you and appreciate you coming on this show tonight.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and we are all one. And incidentally, I spent 5 years in the military.
Oh, very good.
Half your time, but it doesn't matter. I did, and it was an experience as you and I have both had, and it's brought us. All of our experiences have brought us to where we are today. And I have no problem recognizing that we're all one. I have no problem accepting that we are body and spirit, and that makes us a living soul. And in fact, we are the spirit and not the body.
Yep. Right. That's right. Very good. Yeah, because I'm just borrowing this vessel. I've been treating it pretty good for the most part, but I know when it's over on the physical level, I know that I'm moving forward to another level. So it's they've sold us the temporary lie that what we're experiencing here in the now in this physical capacity is all that there is. Well, at least the nefarious ones. That's why we're stuck within the narcissism and the meism of the day, and everybody forgot to have a heart, to treat their brothers, because the true substance of a man or a woman is in their heart, soul, and mind, not in things, not in how many cars you have, how many houses you have. We're not, we're supposed to not be about things. We're supposed to be about each other.
Yep, the substance of a true man is, or the true substance of a man, is the ability to love.
Yep. Yeah.
And I mean, not just what we call love. I mean, true love. To give no greater love as a man than to give his life for another. I mean, that kind of thing, right?
Yep.
These are truths. There's no question about that in my mind.
Yep. Yeah, I really got to internalize that paradigm because of my Marine brothers. I'm well aware now that they sold me the lie under the guise of patriotism, but that's after the fact. But my heart was still my heart, and what I would do for my fellow man or my brother in a combat situation, it was my job to patch him up, get him out there, and take care of that business. And I would give over mine, and that's why I trained them up. Because if Doc takes a hit, you'll be patching each other up, and I hope you paid attention in my class. So I try teaching them digestible chunks of information that would allow them to operate in my capacity, in my stead, if I left the playing field, for lack of a better term.
Yep. And I have that video on our site as well, the All Wars Are Bankers' Wars.
Yep.
It's very popular amongst people like us, I guess, that share our passion for our fellow man, our brothers and sisters. I love this song I downloaded and put on our site called Bugger the Bankers, I think is what it's called.
Okay, I'll have to go take a look at that and subscribe to that song myself, Bugger the Bankers. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one yet.
No, take a look at it. It's very entertaining and I think very accurate, actually. It's fun. It's a fun little song.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, I do have a sense of humor. I'm, like I say, I am the square peg in the round hole, so I like a little comedy and like a little bit of levity to the situation. I used to keep my kernels in stitches.
If you're not the square peg in the round hole, you would not be where you are today. You would not be doing what you're doing today. Those people who are different are the ones that will, or at least have the capacity to change the world.
Yeah, I just throw my little rock in the pond, and hopefully the ripple effect is taking hold and attaching, which I see it is. And like I say, on this level of, we talk about love, I've seen it come through my door, because, like I say, I've had a change. I've had a change over the last 6 months in a whole different way I never thought possible. I've always had a heart, but I've been able to bring it forward and live life on purpose, and I go out of my way now to actually affect somebody in a positive, at least one individual a day, where I can make a difference. And that's called, I think, living life on purpose and showing your so-called humanity, even though I don't really use the word. But it's, if we forget who we are, if we forget to have compassion for our brothers and sisters, we're really missing the mark on multiple levels. I would, I guess I'm laying down myself at this point in time. Because, like I say, the other option of laying down and just leaving it alone is not a viable option, because I have two beautiful daughters, and if this is what they're going to be left behind to inherit, more of the same pain, no, I can't. That's why I can't just lay down. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's for them, As well, me.
That's my experience, too. That's exactly where I am. I've said many times, when you come to an understanding of what's going on, or maybe the truth of what's going on in this world today, and you don't do something about it, that's cowardice.
Yeah,
but you almost have to. There's no going back. You just can't unknow what you know.
Right. Oh, yeah. Hey, when I started pulling this thing, Blackball and the Money Trail and all these, it was psychogenic shock at the beginning, but it was like a bad train wreck. I had to find out more because I was just looking for the truth. That's all I've been doing is my entire life, looking for the truth. And I've told my significant other, I said, why am I learning all this garbage? Because I learned the negotiable instruments laws, the Code of Federal Regulations, statutes at large. I had to find out and go through all those mixes to come to ground, to find out how they all fit together, to have that clarity, that paradigm shift, that whatever the epiphany moment in your mind where to stand back and do nothing is just doesn't. I can't subscribe to it because I see it. I got my brothers and sisters dying for a lie, i.e. in the cancer game. So I've exposed a lot of issues on that on my site, and I give direction to flow. I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe. I'm just giving people information because they're not coming clean on telling us the truth. And if it fits, great. If it doesn't, then you get to go back to sleep, and that's your choice too. So, like I said, we're left to make our choices. Until we stand in the breach and make the right choice for ourselves, it's going to be more of the same, I believe.
Oh, I believe so too. As I've said in that little book that I put together for the site, if we don't do something now, there is absolutely no question that it's going to get a lot worse for our posterity. Look at what's happened to us in our short lifetime.
Yep.
Look how things have progressed or regressed, if I could put it that way, if we're talking about freedom and so on. It's amazing, and it's almost now noticeable on a monthly basis.
Oh, I mean, it puts me in a state of shock almost to see what I'm seeing. It's like a bad dream. Okay, I don't get stuck on fear porn, but I really pay attention. I'm following the bouncing ball on everything that's going on within the world, i.e. like Cyprus and how the IMF helped themselves to those people's private accounts. Like I said, I know there's no money of substance, but the point being is we've been reduced to, like I say, a hypothecation event on all these different levels. And
we've been reduced to a natural resource,
right,
a commodity.
Right.
Yep. And our life and our freedom and our birthright and everything has been stolen from us. It's very much a fact. So, but I take solace in all sincerity in a lot of things that are in the Bible. And you mentioned earlier you're not religious, I believe, and well, I'm not either. I don't subscribe to a religion per se, because religion is simply another modality or another methodology of enslavement and indoctrination. That's all it is. It's got nothing to do with the Bible. The Bible's got a lot of good in it, and there's a lot of crap in there too. I accept that. But the Bible talks about, in Revelations 18, the entire chapter, I believe, describes what we are, the era and what is happening right now, what we are part of right now, this very minute. And it states that in one day or I think it was 1 day or 1 month, the whole thing comes crashing down. And the merchants of the earth cannot sell their wares and their fine linens and deal in the bodies and souls of men. I always pondered that statement. I've known it from a child, actually, and I wondered what that was all about until I learned some of what we've discussed earlier tonight, and now I realize what that's all about. And but the point is, it doesn't say there's going to be destruction to us. It's just this is what is happening, and this is what is supposed to happen, and this is all good, and we're part of it. And I think, I've often said, I can't speak for others, but I believe my job, the thing that I have been called to do, is to be there when people start waking up and take their hand and say, this is what is going on, and this is maybe how we can fix it.
Yep.
I've always believed that, or not always, but for much of the last 15 years at least, believed that was going to be my part. I believe it is actually your part, and many others that are, stepping up to the bar and being counted and saying, I'm here to do what is required of me. And what is required of us is to be there to take people by the hand, because I'm telling you, and you already know this, people are so helpless for the most part, because from childhood till whatever age they are now, they have been indoctrinated. They first, the parents are loving them and believing that they have to teach them the things that I taught my children. I did the same thing. I believed I was helping them. I loved them to death. And unfortunately, that that statement is more poignant than we often realize. I was loving them to death.
Yep.
And teaching them all of the things that I'd been taught. And then I sent them, I literally sent them to church, and then I sent them to school, and wow. You know, it's all part of the same indoctrination system to teach them to be good slaves, good little citizens, a citizen of a slave. And that's where we are. Now, when these people start waking up, I mean, it's not only confusing for them, but they're floundering around. They have no direction, and so on and so forth. That's when people like you and I should be there to help them.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to catch you as you fall, but I'm going to help you carry your own water, too, because I do believe in freedom with responsibility. But you know, I can't expect my brother to get it or my sister to get it if I don't give them some sort of direction of flow. So I use the analogy, I do a lot of heavy lifting, and I do it not only metaphorically, I actually lift weights. I got my arms are probably almost as big as your legs. But I like taking care of my machine, and that's part of who I am, the third peg on mind, body, and spirit. But this direction of flow that you're bringing forward, yes, we need to help them, but we need to help them help themselves. So, like I say, that freedom with responsibility is really paramount because we're supposed to take responsibility for our own actions. It's that part of the free will that I talk about. When we do a little introspection and look inside of ourselves, that's where the true measure of the man is and comes forward. And I guess we all have different levels of, for lack of a better term, garbage we'll put up with it. And when the pain becomes so great, that's when you start saying, hey, this just doesn't fit. I don't like this is the way this is going. There's got to be a better way. And there's something very wrong here in Denmark. So that was the whole point of Brother Michael and I setting up Privatis.Me, because at my house I can show them things. I don't give, like I say, I don't give advice, medical or legal, because I don't live there. But I can give them direction of flow to help get their mind right so that they can affect the change that they want to be as well. And that starts with them.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, you teach him to fish, you can save him and he can fish and feed himself for the rest of his life. So, no, I agree with all of that. And what I mean when I say you have to be there to take him by the hand is because it's taken me, all my life, of course, as it has taken you, but in particular, since I got on this path, it's been 15 years and a little bit. And I can tell people or teach them, more particularly just tell them what I've learned in 15 years. I could pass it on in 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then, of course, discussion is necessary and so on. Now, I didn't have that. It took me 15 years to get that. So now I can pass it on to others in a very, very short period of time and bring them up to speed. And now now they can go. They can be on their own. But I'll tell you, the greatest weapon that is being used against us is something that we, I guess, intuitively or naturally have, and that is fear. And we live in fear. And even when you teach people what you know and pass it on and prepare them, they are still in fear, particularly when they end up in a court or whatever they call that thing, a court of law or a court or the justice system. When they get there, almost always it is fear that takes over. They can't think, they can't hear, they don't hear what the judge is saying to them, and so on. And it's very, very difficult. It's just very difficult.
Yep.
I had occasion about 6 months ago to take a young man who knew nothing about this, but was exposed to it by his father, and I've brought him along, a little at a time, and now he's like a tiger. He has no fear now.
Right.
But it's taken about 6 months. The truth has a tendency to do that, but I'm telling you, it takes a long time to eradicate a lifetime of indoctrination.
Yes. Oh, most definitely, brother. Yeah, you got it. I mean, yeah, we all subscribe to the fear factor now. Yeah, but that's why, like I say, in short order, that's why the educational processes I'm trying to expound upon for people will remove that fear. Because I had firsthand capacity to play ball with all the third-party debt collectors, and I had absolutely no problem with making them go away because I knew in my heart they're liars, crooks, and thieves. Once I internalized that, I said, oh, if you got some love, brother, bring it. You got a valid claim, great. They never brought diddly, and the game was over, and I was able to move on. That was a nice little bridge to get over, to remove the fear, to get to the next levels. And matter of fact, Brother Michael, I understand what you're saying about going to court. We don't advocate anybody to go to court, but Brother Michael had capacity, I think I told you when we first talked, where he went in and he knew who he was as a living beneficiary. He knew his status. They knew he knew because they couldn't trick him. It wasn't the trick, and he stood in peace. He wasn't angry. He wasn't fearful. He wasn't frustrated, and he wasn't arguing, traversing, creating controversy. He just removed the presumption and stood fast in his proper capacity, and they threw that case out nolo prosecu. Like I told you, otherwise he who brought the charge had to pay the bill, and she didn't want to pay the bill because she knew that they couldn't trick him up because he stood fast. And when he was leaving, they recognized him as the man. So, but that's a big stretch for the majority, and I'm well aware. So we're going to try and go other. We're going to try and keep them out of court. That's my objective. I can remove presumptions, and that's a lot more effective methodology to remove presumptions than to go to court and argue.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that we don't have going to court either. And at the moment, we have changed our approach to everything, and we try not to get too involved in any court situation. But of course, if people come to me, I can't help but speak with them and help them understand what's going on in court, and hope that they can learn to defend themselves, if you will, and know who they are when they can stand there. And but I want now to help people by changing the system, and of course I can't do it.
No.
I'm not the one who knows procedure. The lawyer is, and we are so blessed, actually. Is the way I look at it, and I say it almost constantly to myself. We're so blessed to have found somebody who, and all lawyers are not evil. We know that, because they're all human beings, first and foremost, if I can put it that way. So, we found one that is willing, that is knowledgeable, and that is a blessing. And I believe that with that, and with the help of hopefully millions of people, we will be able to bring about the permanent and foundational change to regain our freedom and our birthright, and that's all we're after, and so we can live in love and harmony and peace. God, it would be so beautiful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's the world I want to be. Do no harm, and that's the effective law of the land in my mind. That's the law. You know what I'm saying? Do no harm. I will not transgress against my brother and cause him harm. If I do, I make it right. That's the love and the harmony that I speak of. Because I don't want any chasms. I don't want any controversies. That's negative energy that just it causes you duress. It always comes back. So I always try at all costs to maintain the peace and stay in peace and stay in honor. So it's a lot easier said than done sometimes, because I am an excitable boy.
I understand.
But I'm right-minded, and that's in my heart. I can go there. I go there very quickly and say, hey, I felt bad about it was an incorrect response, and I can go make it right in short order. That's when I know I'm right, as far as in my heart, because it's not about who's right. It's about removing the chasm and keeping the peace, and so we can all peacefully coexist in our world on a beautiful level. And this is where we're supposed to be operating, not warring and causing. That's why I don't subscribe to the Idiot Box as far as watching it. All those goofy shows they have on there, I cannot believe the stuff that is out there. and it's people. It's the meism. It's narcissism to the extreme. I mean, what happened to getting out of yourself and going and helping your brother? And that's what we're supposed to be doing. At least that's what I'm convicted to do.
Amen, brother.
Preacher to the choir.
Yes. Yeah, but I agree. It's okay. I don't mind hearing it again and again and again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It just reinforces my new who I'm supposed to be. But I do have a good lawyer joke I want to leave out on. What's the definition of 100 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean?
A good beginning.
Right. What the heck? You stole my thunder. I don't mind. Very good.
You asked the question.
Yeah, I knew the answer. I didn't know you were going to know the answer.
It's all right.
Wally, we're about to cut to move forward. John, do you have any closing comments for Brother Wally or either myself?
Well, great. I was pretty quiet tonight, and I was just sitting back, taking it all in because I love a new opinion on the show, and I was just taking it all in, and that's great. I think we should get together, and we should stay away from the legal and get into lawful, and get away from lawsuits and get into claims, and I think we could do some damage. So yeah, good stuff. I really enjoyed the show tonight.
Very good. And Brother Wally, I thank you so much for integrating conversation with me through quick and short order with Sister Terry's. She's my liaison, I guess, to the world. And to Sister Terry, I love you. I'm giving her a shout out from because beautiful heart. Her and her husband Patrick, I love them both. They are my hearts. This is where we all come together, and I'm so happy you came on tonight. And I would have no problem with bringing you forward at any other time in the future if you wanted to come back, because you are a right-minded man. I love your heart, brother.
Well, it's been an extreme honor, and I thank you for having me, and I'll be honored to come back, and I'll let you know as we progress. If I have more to share, I'll be certain to let you know. Thank you very much. And folks, we really thank you for coming to In the Spirit of Things tonight. This is a great overview as far as the information, and hey, we are the change we want to be. So I'll be back Tuesday with some the alternative medical side of the house whence I speak, to give everybody a little bit more direction of flow. And with that, we're going to call it a night, and we thank you, we love you, and we will catch you on the rebound. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brother Wally. Thank you, Brother Johnny.
Night, guys.
Good night.
Love you all.
All right, we love you too, sir.